want to join the Q&A?
I'm not ready.
Well, do you want half an hour to get ready?
Yeah, that'd be good, but I'm coming to rescue you because you said there was an issue.
There was no issue.
But as the lighting changed, do I need to up the ISO?
I think it looks fine.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm coming to check now, okay?
Okay. He loves the idea that he's rescuing me, which is quite sweet. I can't film him because I'm guaranteeing he's just in his pants. Okay, so I'm going to answer my questions first, and then he might join me at the end. How this all started was because I always feel like doing Q&As are a bit vain, not for others, just for me, because like I find other people interesting, but I think, well, I don't know, I'm going to care about me. But of course I see on Instagram stories when people say ask me a question, and I find it really interesting. And one day I just thought, I'm going to ask me a question. And I don't do it because I really thought that I was going to get questions like just about Chanel bags, which I don't mind. Honestly, I don't mind telling you. I don't mind answering. I always answer as many as possible. I just thought that was... I often think that that's all you think I'm about. So I underestimated everyone and I was blown away with the questions. And I said on my stories that I've never felt so appreciative of my like online community that I have created, and for years and years, it takes years to build this up, and I mean organically, and I know that lots of other people do it as well. My hair's all caught in here. How do I explain this? When you do it really organically, like you're doing it just for the love, which I must say are so many bloggers that do it like this, and people that are in it for the long run and for the pure passion, and maybe I've got a bigger picture of maybe one day they want their own brand, you are only going to be able to succeed in that if you have an organic audience. So if you buy likes, how do you know what everybody likes? And yeah, you might have 50,000 likes, but when you introduce a brand, are people going to buy it? And or you know, a product, vice versa, you know, whatever way you want to look at it. And I always stood by the fact that I wanted an organic audience because I was doing this for a passion. I started 7 years ago. I did it for a passion. Sometimes it does get me down that I'm considered like a smaller follower on Instagram, and that is for no other reason than how brands perceive bloggers. And that's the only other reason. So I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, I don't want any more followers, because work-wise and achievement-wise, of course I want to. But, you know, in today's world, there's so much... I knew that was going to happen. I could feel it. I have a dodgy... Now I've lost that. There's a dodgy back on one of them. Oh, I can't be able to find it. I was going to put my Selena earrings in as well because these are quite heavy. I just filmed a haul. Let me put these ones in. Yes, as I was saying, it's thankfully brands now, you know, there's stats and software, and it's not been a problem for me at all. And I'm just really grateful for the online community that I have, and all that. You know, we're just a group of people that like the same thing, and sometimes we don't like the same thing, but we like each other's personality, and I get as much entertainment and advice. Like, everybody helped me so much with my eczema, everybody helped me find this mango dress the other day, so I just see it as an online community. And yeah, I've never been so grateful for my audience, because the questions, like, they were so unpredictable. I had the most like random questions that were all really relevant, all really interesting, really like challenging and interesting for me to answer. And I did answer a fair amount on Instagram stories, but I was getting so into it, and I just thought that the questions and the answers were so useful to everyone else, I'll film it here. And I haven't done one for at least a year or two, so here I am filming a Q&A. I often talk a lot. I don't know what I'm doing with this earring. So yeah, expect it to be a long video, so much so that I'm thinking about doing it for 20 minutes and then uploading another video tomorrow with the other 20 minutes, and Paris will probably be in that one. So I said on stories, go and ask him a question, and he's got lots of questions. So I'm just going to show you, this is not including the questions that I've already answered. Just look at how many questions. How many questions that I got, literally. So I'm not going to be able to get through all of these. I'm just going to screenshot and go through as many as I can. If you get bored, skip it, or come back and watch it another time. Just pre-warning you, it is going to be a long videos because, like for example, the first question, would you like to have children one day? I'm not the kind of person to say yes, next question. Like, I really want you to get to know me. I have a lot of views on certain things. I've been in the industry for a while. I feel experienced with other things on a personal level, and just a general chit chat really. I know that I'm talking to the camera, but I do wait to see the response and then I chat with you individually. So already 5 minutes, but I'm just introducing while I'm doing the Q&A, and if you like it, I'm more than happy to do more because I won't be able to get through all of the questions, and maybe you want to give me a new set of questions. So here goes. It's a mixture between Chanel bags, shopping, personal questions, children, travel, like literally all sorts. So I hope you find it interesting. Top pieces on your spring summer wish list. Okay, this is from my friend Lou Hey Hey, who is the most stylish person ever, so I don't know why she's even asking me this kind of thing when she dresses so well. I actually don't have a wish list. I actually have a bag on my wish list that is which I'm sure we'll get to in a second because I did see what's your next dream bag. That is kind of my main focus. And I want to start buying a lot more vintage because I used to live in vintage when I was at uni and I couldn't afford all the designer pieces that I wanted, and I'd always go to vintage over high street purely for uniqueness and quality, and all of my most adored pieces are vintage. So I really want to get back into vintage. I'm really into knitwear. I've just shown some really amazing knitwear pieces in my Mango haul, like thin knits to layer up. Oh, I'm on the hunt for a pair of low-rise jeans, and I've seen like arguments about this on Twitter, how people don't want them to come back, but I am like 90s child. I loved Britney Spears with her six-pack and her low denim jeans, and that was basically my uniform. I went to the gym every day. I wore low-rise jeans and a vest top that showed my tummy. I'm not going to do that now, but I'm quite interested in a pair of like low-rise baggy Levi's with my Manolo Blahniks. Lots of shirts. I want to get loads of nice shirts to tie up in the summer, wear baggy in the winter with knits with big cuffs coming out. So not a trend, but I want to keep it quite classic, and I'm concentrating on getting my hands on this bag that I want. Would you like to have children one day? Of course. I can do a yes or no answer, and my answer is yes. I'm not going to say of course because I actually know people that don't actually want to have children. I would love to have children, and I'm going to give you a really raw, honest answer, which I'm going to do with all of my questions. And I am quite honest with you all the time, so this is quite personal, but the honest answer is that I have worked so hard to get where I am today, feeling happy, content, feeling, oh my itchy eyebrows back, feeling, I get really distracted, but do you know my new Mango outfit? It's like a really nice knitted twin set, two-piece thing. Yeah, I'm really hard on myself, and it's just taken me so long. I'm so happy where I am in my career. Like, I would say that all of my goals are here, and I'm just hitting them and hitting them and hitting them. And I would say I'm about here, and I would say that I just have just under halfway to go. But this final, it was a long slog to get there, and this is going to be a big jump. My father-in-law always says that when you have a business, you take it from here to here where you're successful, and then you can plateau and be, you know, you can do well and a nice living, or you jump to here. I'm at the point where I want to jump to the next level, and it's going to take a lot of hard work, and maybe it won't take me as long as what it has done to get me to here, but I'm so scared that that I won't be able to achieve all that, and it's quite a selfish way to look at things, and I'll be honest about that. And the people that I know that have achieved it have a lot more money than we do, so it does really worry me, and I always think that I'm not going to be good enough, but I think I feel like that about most things. I want to be the best at everything I do, and there's nothing more important than being a mum. So I just want to be prepared, but I fully know that nothing makes you prepared. No one's really ready. We are more than comfortable to be able to look after a child. I just want to achieve goals, and I'm mentally preparing myself that I will be able to do it and my life will change, and my friend told me this morning it will open up new doors. So the answer is yes, I do, but I just feel like I don't want to achieve more. I just want to set myself up. I want to give myself the foundations to go to the next level, and I haven't built those foundations yet. So I'm ready to work hard with a child, but I know in my heart that now is the time. And I never talk about my age, but I definitely am older than the average person, which plays on my mind. Where do you see yourself in 5 years in terms of family goals, business goals, and shopping goals? So that kind of relates to what I've just said, and this is not planned. I'm literally reading them one after the other. This, and I know this is going to be 40 minutes, but I'm just going to chop them into different videos. In 5 years' time, I am really looking forward to in 5 years' time, actually, and that saying of, I wish I knew then what I knew now, is the most resonating saying with me, because you learn so much from experience, and I'm really looking forward to in 5 years' time, because I really feel that I have learned so much in business, in personal life. I'm really happy with who I am, and now I've got to just put that all into motion and actually use all that. So I feel like in 5 years' time, I feel like I'm going to be really settled, hopefully with children, or one child at least. And the foundations that I'm trying to set up now for the future, I hope that that will probably just start taking, it should have already soared and we're comfortable. So yeah, hopefully that I've hit the goal that I'm trying to reach now. I'm fully set in that, which is, it's not really to do with blogging at all, it's kind of something else. For those of you that don't know me, and those that you don't know a lot about me, I love blogging. It's a full-time job, but I also do something else, and I also want to do something else in the future as well. So I plan on really focusing on that. Yeah, plan to have a family, and just want to be, I want to be successful, I'm not going to lie. I always want to hit my goals, and I just want to be happy, really happy and healthy. You don't seem to be much into Italian luxury brands, am I right? Is there a reason? I don't mean to be, but you're right, I'm not. I love French brands, it's just how it is, and that's nothing to do with the fact that, you know, like, I'm obsessed with Chanel for the wrong reasons. I genuinely love Chanel as a brand, it's just so me. If I could always just wear one brand, it would be that, and it sounds a bit cliche, but I do love Chanel. I do love Dior. There's so many brands that I love, and I do love Italian brands, but yeah, it's right, maybe it's just the Parisian style that I'm drawn to. Sometimes, like, I have a friend that loves Italian brands, and she suits them so well. She's a bit more, like, colourful, more colourful than me, I don't know, but yeah, I do see that. I do have a few Italian things, I don't not like it, but my style is a bit more Parisian, a bit more British, a bit more American maybe. Something you must have done in your life. I don't understand that question. Something you must have done in your life. I'm not really too sure what that means. Not a question, but I love you. That's nice. Would love to be a boss for creative control, but also love financial security. Any tips? So I guess this answers to anyone that wants to maybe do something creative, but wants to, but can also have a job that pays better, and you're deciding between the two. This, I'm quite experienced with this because I chose a creative career, and I chose a career in fashion. I actually really wanted to be a lawyer, and I do think I'd be good at that because I'm very headstrong. I'm very, like, I do suit all the things of it, suit all the attributes to a lawyer. And I was so close to doing it, and I just went with my passion. And I actually went at a time when I was younger, creative and arts were really frowned upon. It always has been. People seem to think that when you do an arts kind of degree, you're thick compared to someone that's done, you know, economics, which, you know, academically maybe so. But as I took my uni course, the world was just accepting arts. They were just starting to accept that it was something to be respected, and that really pushed me on. Then we had the recession, and I would say that arts aren't as respected as what it was when I just started my degree, but, you know, it's not as bad as it was before. And people are just stupid if they think that, you know, in an arts degree we still have to do the academic side. We still have to write a dissertation. You know, pattern cutting, for example, is basically mathematics. So I would say go with your passion, because if you've got that entrepreneurial character, which not everybody does have, you can turn that into your own business and you can be very successful and very wealthy or very comfortable. So I would say go for your passion. It's entirely up to you what you want, but just remember that you have to spend most hours of your life working. So try and find something that you're passionate about, and then when you're passionate, it doesn't seem as much as work, and you can go think out of the box, be your own boss. I think you should go with your passion. Have you ever considered being a motivational speaker after reading in your Q&As on Instagram? No, I haven't. I don't see myself that motivating at all. Like, I have some friends that are really motivating, and I don't see myself like that at all. The only probably good quality or skill I have when it comes to that is I've lived a life. Like, I haven't, there's a lot of people that have lived a lot worse off than me, but I feel like I've had so many things that have humbled me. And I just understand the perspective of life, of to appreciate everything. We've had one too many reminders that kicks you back down and reminds you what's important. And I think that when you've had serious things happen, it helps you tackle anything, like stupid things in fashion, like fashion and sport. It's all entertainment, but you know, entertainment and happiness is important. And it all helps the world go round. But I just think it really helps with trivial things when you've had like serious issues in your life or health issues. So I just think I'm a bit appreciative and humble, but I don't think I'm that positive enough for a motivational speaker. Lots of questions about babies. Stylish winter outfits. Kind of spoken about that in my hauls, but I always wear, the teddy coat was a big trend this year. I actually had mine from last year. You know, I don't follow trends, you know, if I like them, I like them, but I would just say, I hate talking about trends, but winter essentials, I would say knitwear, because I'm obsessed with knitwear. Layering, I was really into the leather trench this winter, and like wearing thin cashmere knits underneath, so you had the barrier of the leather, perfect in the rain, and I'd wear 2 layers of cashmere, and it was really warm, and that was the kind of look that I love this winter. Who is your style inspiration? I have, like, my mum took me to see Tina Turner the other day, and I was so inspired by the costumes without thinking. I was so fixated on the costumes. I love finding inspiration from 80s, 90s, 20s. I just love finding inspiration. You know, all trends come back around, and whenever you see things on the catwalk, yeah, it's the designer's own interpretation, but you've seen it 100 times before. That's why I think that these Instagram accounts that pull down designers for like recreating something from the past, yes, sometimes they literally copy, but you know, everything comes back around. And I would say that, you know, Dolly Parton, Freddie Mercury, Elvis Presley, like not obviously the full look, but I've fallen in love with a pair of boots that Elvis Presley had before, or a jacket that Dolly Parton's had, and then I'll kind of either customise the jacket myself, or find it vintage, or even find it somewhere like Net-a-Porter. Those are my kind of people that I'm attracted to. When are you going to do another styling video? Just done one, will be already on my channel, my mango haul. What did you do to take off your mascara and eyeliner? Recently I've been using my Creme de la Mer cream, heating it up in my hand and with a cotton pad because my eczema's been really bad. The Clinique balm I think is really nice and gentle. When I've got really good skin and it's not sensitive, I just use the micellar water. I always get confused with Marcella, which is a series on English TV. Yep, so that's what I use. What was your first luxury purchase? I really can't remember because I was buying luxury since I can remember. I mean, luxury is subjective, isn't it? I remember at school I had a Juicy Couture tracksuit and everyone thought that it was so expensive and amazing. What did I have? I was really predictable when it comes to luxury because I have built up my luxury. Like, I remember saying I would never buy an Hermes bag, and look at me now, I have 4. I'm looking to buy my 5th one. I think my first bag was a Vivienne Westwood bag. I got it on my discount at Harrods, and then I slowly went... In Harrods you have the basement, which is Vivienne Westwood, Michael by Michael Kors. And then you have the next floor, which is Givenchy, Loewe, Miu Miu, Balenciaga, Chloe. And then you have the high-end super brands like Christian Dior, Chanel, and it kind of goes by level of floor, and that's literally how I see it in my head. I started at the basement, then I went to ground floor and I was interested in Chloe bags, and then I was finally being able to afford a Chloe bag, and then I went to the Hermes bag. The only other next level for me in terms of going even more luxury would be exotic skin or, like, you know, diamond encrusted bags, and they are a no-no for me. Do you find Creme Chanel's hard to keep? You recently bought one. Okay, so I guess they're talking about like my Chanel Trendy, which is beige and lambskin. The answer is no. Don't be scared of them at all. They're really not. They're light skin Chanel bags. They're really good quality. Just stay away from unwashed jeans and really obvious things that are going to rub against them. But I've actually already done that, and they don't seem to mark, so the quality is good. They're always coated in something that kind of protects it, but I would definitely not be scared. When I bought my beige Chanel Trendy, I loved it so much, and I didn't buy it because it was really expensive and I knew it would get ruined, and it was lambskin and it was light, but I loved it so much I had to get it, and I was just gonna have it for special occasions, and I use it all the time. I've dropped it on the floor by accident and it is immaculate. So yes, answer is yes, they're fine. Don't be scared of it. Please share some more pics of your wedding dress. Okay, I'll put a couple here. And stay tuned to Instagram, so I've just posted one and I'll post another one, and my next video is going to be a wedding vlog video. Thoughts on going to school for merchandising, design, fashion versus self-taught? Good question. So for me personally, when it comes to anything creative, something like styling, merchandising, all of this, whatever way you look at it, especially styling, which obviously is my thing, you have either got it or you haven't. I've worked with people that were bankers and went into styling. I've worked with people that are self-taught and never studied anything, and they are fantastic, skillful, they know how to put things together, they have a vision. So I don't think it matters. And I also know people that went to styling school, styling university, and you can't force that. You can either dress someone or you haven't, or you can't. With that said, there are two reasons why it could be useful to go to university to study merchandising or styling. Let's use those two as an example. I studied styling at London College of Fashion. It wasn't my main degree, but I went and studied it and I got a distinction in that, and I felt very confident with styling because I do feel like you either got it or you haven't. I'm not saying I do, I'm just saying that, you know, that's what I think. And I wanted it just for the qualifications, that people took me seriously, and some parts you did learn, like you learn the colour wheel of skin tones and what colours go with skin tones. For example, if I had a client, I would straight away look at them and know what skin tone they are and what colours suit them. For me, for example, I have a pinky undertone to my skin and I should be wearing earthy tones. So whenever I put something on my Instagram where I'm wearing like khaki, for example, I'll get a lot of feedback saying that I look amazing, I look pretty, and it's basically the colours. The colours are complementing my skin, my eyes, my hair. It's not making me look washed out. I look alert. It's just complementary, and I always notice on my Instagram when I wear one of my colour wheel colours. And I shouldn't wear pink and pastel colours and pinky tones, but I do. So you get to learn these, which are really important. You get to learn body shapes. So you're meant to know there's only like 5 body shapes, and it's not like when you read in a magazine, pear, apple. I mean, it is, but there's more to it than that. And then you get to learn the ins and outs and stuff like that. Pattern cutting, you have to go to university. I told you that I like maths. So I would say if you're really passionate about it, you do learn the extra thing. But I strongly advise that you do work experience before you take a university degree. I did that. I went to every department. I went to editing. I did an internship at OK Magazine. I went to a designer, see if I wanted to be a designer. I done buying. I went to a PR agency. I did every aspect of fashion to see what I really wanted to do. And it's funny because I remember talking to this editor at OK Magazine. And she was like, what do you want to do? Do you want to be an editor? And I was like, not really, no. So do you want to be a designer? I was like, not really, no. I said I want to be a stylist because that suits mostly what I want to do, but I just want something that involves trend prediction because I studied at university and it's something I'm interested in and I think I've got an eye for. I want something that I can do, that I can travel. I want something, and all of the things that I said basically involve blogging, and it was not a thing back then. When I was doing my experience at 17 years old, it was not a thing. So I really have fell into this. I literally fell into this industry. So I advise that you do go and do work experience because you might change your mind. And I went to uni with one of my best friends now who did design, and halfway through she realised she didn't want to do design and she changed to journalism, and now she's an editor at a fashion brand. And also it's very hard to get a job, let's face it, it's very hard to get a job these days. It's very saturated, fashion and blogging and all of these kind of jobs that you think are glamorous. Loads of people want to do it, so for every one person, for every one job, there are hundreds of people, and you need to stand out. So if you've got the skill, you've got the bubbly personality or the personality to fit the role, your education will back you up. So go with your passion, make sure you know what job you want to do by work experience, and I do think in this day and age you do need education because it's so hard to get a job, and you also need to fall back on something. And even if you change your mind, I'm pretty sure I saw this question later on, so I'm just going to answer it now. If you change your mind about a degree, say you do law and you go into fashion, doesn't matter. And the reason why it doesn't matter is because if I was taken on, say, a stylist or a merchandiser for my own brand, I would really be, I'm not saying I would pick that over anyone, it would have to depend on the person, but I would be really attracted to someone that did economics, business, law, something like that, because it just shows that they're intelligent and they're determined and that they're hard degrees, and it says a lot about them. And then if they've got the skill to do styling and they're creative, it's the perfect combination. So don't be worried that if you want to do an arts job or creative job, it's okay to do a business kind of job, because when you, like all these bloggers you see, like people do underestimate them. If you're seeing someone sitting behind YouTube and they've got books coming out, they've got brands coming out, they've got I don't know, 100,000 followers on YouTube, they are business women, men. They're business women, so don't underestimate them. A lot of people are buying fake followers and stuff like that, but majority of these people that you see behind the camera, they are business people. They're having a team of people, they've got a lot of money coming in, they know the laws of advertisement, they know the laws of tax, they've got multiple things going on, and you need a business mind to be able to do this. So yeah, don't be scared to take a business degree if you want to go in arts, and if you want an arts degree, like I did an arts degree, I still think it's important because it's hard to get a job, it makes you stand out, and a degree shows that you're determined and you follow through with something. Do you feel pressured to keep up with trends purely because of the blog, or do you prefer to do your own thing? I never feel pressured to keep up with trends. It's never been my thing. I say over and over again that, you know, if this had red stripes on and red stripes were a trend, yeah, I'm not going to avoid it because I like something, and if it's all over the store I'm bound to fall in love with one red stripy jumper. But I don't go out of my way for trends, and I do think that my audience and the viewers, the people that watch me, I do think they've noticed that about me, because it's just some, like, I can't stand fad things. I really can't. Like, sometimes I make the odd mistake, sometimes I'll fall in love with something that's faddy, but sometimes I think I love that, but that's a fad, I'm gonna hate it in 6 months time. And you know, the odd time I might have it for 6 months and sell it, but very, very rarely. I just like classic things and things that I fall in love with. And it's all about what I want to wear, not what, like, why do you want something that everybody else is wearing? You're gonna stand out. If baby pink's in and you go to a party and wear bright purple, you're gonna stand out. There's a line because you don't want to come across too dated or whatever, but no, the answer is no, I don't feel pressured by trends at all, and I think it's gone in my favour because I always offer something a bit different, and I clearly don't buy things for the sake of it. Do you think it's ever too late to go into styling coming back from a buying background, do you have an advice? No, I never think it's too late to do anything. Paris changed his career. I mean, he weren't that young, old at all, but he was from a banking background, was a trader, very successful trader, and he did not want to do it anymore. And I don't think it's ever too late. He was going to be a vet. He's already got a science degree, so he could jump like halfway through the education. And I was said to him, do whatever you're passionate about. And a really inspiring person that I met recently, cut out because it's been filming for too long. So yeah, I met Roland Murray, and he's so inspiring because I think that he didn't start until he was late 30s. Can't remember the exact now. I said it in my Roland Murray. I always forget numbers, but I said it in my Roland Murray vlog. He didn't become a designer until his late 30s. Tina Turner didn't really make it until she was in her late 40s. So no, do what you're passionate about. And actually in 10 years time, like if I was to say, oh, I'm too late, I don't want to be a blogger anymore, I want to be a dentist, but it's too late. No, in 10 years time, I'll look back and think, God, I could have been a dentist with my own practice by now. Just go for it. Do what you're passionate about because life is too short. And actually, your buying career will actually help you and give you an advantage over someone else you're going up against, because you'll be able to use that buy-in. Like styling, like you can't just know what goes together. You do need to know the ins and outs of brands. So by me working at Harrods, it really makes me, I understand sizing. I know how every brand is sized because I tried on clothes all day long with women in different shapes and sizes. So that's an advantage for me. You as a buyer, you know what people want to buy, like the whole background, it will help. So don't take that for granted. Is blogging market too saturated now to start one? Absolutely not. There is enough room for everybody, and that's like saying there's Rihanna and Rita Ora, there's no room for another singer. Yes, there is. I want to listen to Rihanna and Rita Ora. I want to watch X blogger for her beauty. I want to watch X blogger for her sports stuff. I want to watch these 5 bloggers because they do high street. Like, what is one more blogger? Like, there's room for everyone with all the millions of people in the world. And even if there's someone that stands out to do high street or luxury and you want to be a luxury blogger, so you can be someone else. There's disadvantages and advantages to starting now. The disadvantages for me when I started, and everyone else that started 7-8 years ago, is that it wasn't taken seriously and it wasn't a thing. Like, you couldn't even get a loan from a brand, let alone be gifted, let alone be paid. Now it's the given thing that everybody gets paid. So we had to, it was a long fight for us to get where we are. And but you don't have that now. You have the beauty of people understanding what blogger is. You can go, like, you can get into a black cab and you say I'm a blogger, and even the black cabs in London know what a blogger is. So it's more respected now, it's more accepted now. You can earn money very early on. You can be a micro blogger, which is under 20k on Instagram. I hate talking about following, but that is the definition of a micro blogger. And you can actually be very successful in selling because you've got a really niche, dedicated audience. So you can actually earn money very early on, which is your advantage. The only disadvantage is it is saturated, so you just have to be unique, really. You have to stay true to yourself. You have to find your USP, and you have to work out what people like. I recently had a blogger that has about 80k followers, 80,000 followers on Instagram, and I've told her this. I've been really honest with her, and she constantly is saying how she's not getting any likes, she's not growing, she just hates the way that the industry is. And I said to her, like, because she said she was really popular at one point, I said that happens to everyone. You have to go with the times. So if blogging is popular one day and then it's all about YouTube, like, just go with the times. You have to, like, be one step ahead and grow with your business. So I hope that makes sense. The answer is there's absolutely room for everyone. You've just got to be unique, and just the more genuine you are. I know that the people behind this camera screen are people just like me. I can spot a fake just like you can spot a fake. So if you're just genuine and stay true to yourself and don't follow trends, like, when the Misguided hauls were all the rage, I knew that if I was regrammed or Misguided, I'd wake up with 10,000 followers. I saw it happen every day, and I didn't jump on the trend because it's not me. I didn't want to do a Misguided haul, or whoever it was. I don't not like Misguided. I'm just saying that I never wanted to do it. And 5 years later, I think it really helped me. So, I hope that answers. It's freezing in here. The heating's gone off. How do you deal with your health issues such as IBS? And they've listed all my health issues so they know what's wrong with me. I keep some of it quite personal actually, just because I don't want to bore you, I don't want to bore myself, I don't want it to focus. I don't want it to be a focus. Working for myself was, I knew I wanted to do it because it is part of my character to be that kind of entrepreneurial person. I did the Myers-Briggs quiz at Harrods and they said I got the highest result for working for yourself. So I always knew I wanted to do that, but all jokes aside, I do suffer from a couple of serious health issues, which I don't talk about that much, but I have done. I have a lung disease and sometimes it takes over my life and I really can't do stuff. The IBS, I know a lot of people suffer with. It does get me down, it is awful. And working for myself has been an absolute blessing, because sometimes if I have been up all night and I haven't been able to breathe, or I've been at A&E all night, I can go home, I can have the day off, I can maybe work later in the day. As long as I got all my work done, I've not got a boss telling me I have to be in work when I really am not well enough. So working for myself has been a blessing, but I also am like I can manage myself. I don't have any, I know that I have my work to do and I make sure I get it done, which I know people that don't actually have that. I'm not saying either or is bad, but it's actually been a blessing for me to work for myself in that reason. I do struggle with travelling and stuff like that with work, but I do think it could be worse when I'm so ill, and I know other people are just as ill as me, and I think, God, these people will have to get the train to work because they're going to lose their job and they've got to sit talking to people or seeing people face to face. So I think I'm really lucky, and it was a really big goal of mine to work for myself because of my health issues. And I often think if I weren't working for myself, God knows where I'd be, because I used to get really ill and I still get really ill. So yeah. I think I read that wrong. She asked how do you just deal with it in general. There's no other way to deal with it, and when it's really, really bad, the main thing that gets me through it is I think to myself, it could be worse. I'm not terminally ill. Yes, IBS is hell and it's awful, and I often wonder what it would be like without it, and if I had one wish, that would be definitely up there, to not have any of these stomach and gut problems, but it could always be worse, and I'm living and I'm here and I have a good quality life. Like, it's not that bad, and that is how I just, you know, slap myself around the face and get on with it. What was your first job after school? So at school I used to sell those Juicy Couture tracksuits. I used to buy them in from America because they were cheaper in America then. Like back in the day when I was younger, you could actually go to America and get like Nike trainers for half the price. You could go to France and get a Chanel bag for nearly half the price. Like, the world has made it all equal now. So I saw that and made money off of that. I was always like ducking and diving kind of thing. I was always, without realising, trying to make money on a big scale. So I would work my first job whilst I was at school. I was 14, I was a waitress. I would save up my wage, buy the Juicy Couture tracksuits and turn £40 into £200. I worked at River Island in the day, waitressing in the evening, carvery on a Sunday. I've always worked, and if my mum was at the hospital with my dad, I would literally walk 2 hours to and from. It literally used to take me 2 hours to walk through the fields from the restaurant to my house, but I didn't mind, I just did it. My first proper job after uni, did she say school or uni? She said school/uni. My first proper job was, I went to uni, and I remember Grazia had just launched, and I'd applied for a job at Harrods as a fashion specialist, and I didn't think I'd get it because Harrods is so prestigious and it said personal shopping with a twist. I'd be doing so much styling experience and small jobs like a styling assistant, like TV shows, and the pay was really bad. Sometimes I had to do it for free, but I was doing all that, but realised that I wanted to go more into personal shopping because I like everyday styling as opposed to music videos and stuff like that. And I also thought that it had more security, I'd get a discount. So I applied for that job thinking I'll go just for work. I'm really slouching. Just so that I could go for work experience for the interview, and I'll apply for Grazia because it sounded really cool to be a stylist at a fashion magazine. Went for the interview. I walked out of the Harrods interview. They offered me the job right away. Apparently I got really high marks on all of the tests that I did. Well, not apparently, I know I did. And I took it because the pay was a lot higher than Grazia. And then all these years later, I always wondered how my life would have been like if I took the Grazia role, because I think it would have taken me in opposite directions. And part of me working at Harrods is why I met Paris. So there is a very strong possibility we still could have met because we met through friends. But the reason why I said yes to going out the night when I met him was because I didn't get my promotion, and it's a whole other long story. So yeah, I often think what that would be like, but I'm glad I took the Harrods route because it was the best place to learn how to be thick-skinned and competitive in a good way. Yeah, so my first job was Harrods, and I stayed there ever since until I set up my blog and my other businesses. What's your favourite colour? Grey's got a bit of a weird trend at the moment. Like, I'm sick of seeing houses that are grey and white, and mine is grey and white, and I just really want the grey and white trend to go because grey is my favourite colour. I think it's always going to be my favourite colour, but I really love minky greys, like nudie pink and mauve undertone, and I love the colour mink, so grey and mink. What gives you your work motivation? So that's a good question as well, because a lot of people are motivated by money, like, you know, there's so many different things, and a big thing that we're motivated by is money. And I would definitely say that is one of the reasons, but it's not just that I can have money, it's that I can have I can set up a good life for my children if I hopefully have them. And I think because I come from a home where money was quite, like, you know, we didn't have money, I'm just adamant that we do have money. I want to be like, I'm so appreciative of the fact that I can go into like the expensive supermarkets and buy whatever food that I want, and it's not a problem, and I don't have to like not buy the Parma ham or, you know, whatever, you know, those things that you don't really need. I didn't really have that growing up, so I'm so driven by that. And if I could have had the choice to grow up privileged, you know, maybe I would have picked it, but I can honestly say that growing up not privileged really gives you such a strong character. And, you know, Paris has the opposite background to me, so I'm not pulling him down, or, you know, we're all different, and he learned things that I didn't learn that has helped him now. That's why we're such a good team and partnership, because we bounce off each other, his weaknesses and my strengths, vice versa, and they all have their own strengths. But I love that I grew up really humble, because it gave me so much drive. Like, it gives you like this fire that you want to like push and do well, and I push both Paris and I too hard sometimes because I'm adamant that I'm going to get there. And then by him not having that, it helps us to live a balanced life, and he brings fun to the everyday life, which is so important, and we're just such a good partnership like that. So yeah, that motivates me. And really small trivial things, like, for example, I'm actually really good with money because of how I grew up. I do have my weaknesses, but for example, I'll put money into my savings, I'll pay all my bills and everything like that. And I'll, you know, my money that I want to live off of, like, maybe it's a bit high because I want to live well, but if I want, for example, a Birkin or a Chanel bag, I have to work even harder. So I'll push for another contract. I'll push for, you know, I'll push myself for a couple of months. Like, I physically can't do that all the time, but I'll go all out so that I can get that bag. And you know, sometimes just getting something like a handbag will give me an incentive to do really, really well. Another motivation that I can't not mention are people that try to bring you down, people that try to discredit your reputation or what you've achieved, or look down at you and dismiss you. Those are the worst ones. I find, you know, like the whole troll thing, it honestly doesn't really bother me. You're always gonna have it. I would rather have a troll online than a troll at work making like me dread going into the office. I'd rather have someone bully me online that I don't even know who they are, than the people that have to go to work and sit with someone that they hate and is making them get anxiety. So I feel like that's a lucky, you know, I get online trolls, but I don't miss that office workspace toxicness. I think I got a lucky escape with that. But actually people that I know that dismiss me, which can be anything from, normally it's luxury brands or huge brands that only work with huge brands, photographers, editors. They can be so dismissive and underestimate you as a person, as, you know, they don't take kindness into it, they don't think you're talented enough, they don't think you're chic enough. These people really motivate me because I really want to prove that I can do it and that I'm better than what they judged me. I find that really motivating. How did you embarrass me, and also where did the name Chouquette come from? Loads of people put really nice things like I love you, adore you. I'm not going to read that out because I find that I'm being like braggy. And just so that you know that I'm not lying, like here are all the names. Oh, Paris is here to join the Q&A. I'm just going to finish this one question. Oh, you blow dried your hair?
No.
Have you brought your phone with the questions?
Yes, of course.
How did you embarrass me, and where did the name Chouquette come from?